I wanted to share with you another lesson that I learned in my book, A Wife's Recovery from an Affair: The Story of a Faithful God. This lesson came during the second part of my story, and for years I had struggled with negative words and mindsets, and I really discouraged my spouse with the words and the attitudes that I had about our marriage. In the second part of my story, my spouse had lost heart and was done with our marriage. And God laid this verse on my heart during that time. In Galatians 6:9, it says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Before this verse, it talks about planting, and that God cannot be mocked, that we will reap what we sow. So for years, I had sowed negative things. I had spoke discouragement and ungratefulness, just things like that. And I was reaping the effects of that. So with this verse, God was encouraging me to plant life. So I started speaking encouragement. I started being grateful for things. I started looking at the good things that my spouse was doing and that he had been for me. And slowly, as I started speaking life, my spouse saw the change in me. And God truly was doing a work in me. But it took the obedience and living that out day by day that made the difference. Now, it became overwhelming after a while to start really thinking about putting that into practice for a long period of time. Long term obedience can be very overwhelming. So, my godly aunt gave me this advice, which was to ask the question each day: what does faithfulness and obedience look like today? And by focusing on today, I have the strength that I need for today. God is with me. God is with you for that day. We can't be looking into the future. Tomorrow has enough worries of its own. We need to focus on today. And so with that piece of advice, it was very helpful, and it helped me to be able to take the portion of obedience that I needed to focus on in a smaller amount. Because again, we're within that day. We have the strength for that day. So that was very powerful in taking those steps each day to really allow God to change my heart and to actually get those habits and those patterns established so that I can keep moving forward. So, my question to you today is: what does faithfulness and obedience look like in your life today?